It's time to get back to work. Back to work. Back to work. Back to work.
Why is it always over so fast?
Alright. We had a little bit of a vacation. A little bit of the cache, as they say. No one says that. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of my favorite games of 2016, since that's not a topic anyone's ever thought of before. Okay, well, regardless, I'm optimistic. I just wanted to try some new things this year, maybe take things a little bit lighter occasionally. So let's talk about some of my favorite games of 2016. Oh, and just for the record, these are my personal favorites, and I don't have a PS4, otherwise the list might be a little different. Enter the Gungeon has to be one of the best roguelike games that has come out in a long time. I mean, personally, I would say that it's better than Binding of Isaac, at least in terms of the core gameplay, but maybe that's just me. There may not be as many characters to choose from, but the controls feel great. You have to dodge bullets by diving around, flipping tables, and there's nearly an endless amount of variety in the guns, which is, kind of the point of playing the game. Gungeon is all about getting down the fundamentals and building up your core skill level so that you can get away with using whatever weapons you come across and be effective at the same time. And once you get those fundamentals down, that's where the game really starts to shine, and you really feel like a badass perfectly dodging and taking out enemies. Then you learn all about the secret areas, the bosses. This one's the Gorgon. Everything's a pun. You start accumulating more skills and mixing and matching different items, but that only helps so much. The hard lesson you learn is that the further you get, the harder it gets. One of my favorite characters is the pilot. He does suck at aiming, but one of his perks is that he starts with a lockpick, so sometimes you get stuff for free. Enter the Gungeon definitely deserves a look if you haven't played it. It's one of the best games to come out all year. Cluster Truck is a game all about hopping on top of trucks. That's it. That's all you do. You hop on a car, go to the next one. Well, I guess it's not exactly that simple, especially in the later stages, but it is the basic concept of the game. It might only take you a few hours depending on your skill level to get through the majority of the game. But there's something about this game in the masochistic side of my brain that's like, one more try. One more try. One more try. One more try! One more try! One more try!
And it was at this point he realized that this entire game is basically that one scene from The Matrix.
I think the reason that I thought of this game while creating this list is more of a personal experience with the game. Seeing as I started to stream more often this past year, Cluster Truck was one of the first games to pioneer Twitch integration with the gameplay itself, allowing your Twitch audience to vote for things that constantly happen to you. So in a weird sense, it kind of created this special version of the game that I got to play through with people. The audience would be voting for crazy effects to happen to my levels,
Or if I got lucky, maybe they tossed me a good effect on a more difficult level.
making everything in the game that much more insane and sporadic. Plus, with Steam Workshop integration, you can simply download new levels to keep the experience going. Super short, challenging, and fun, this game has my full recommendation. Monster Hunter has increasingly become one of my favorite video game series. It might be a bit on the grindy and difficult side for a lot of casual players, but for me, this game's always been right up my alley. All you do is essentially go out and gather materials and then hunt stuff. Hunt this guy, hunt that guy, kill this bird.
Wear his remains on your body!
Be a cat. Mine looks like Link. The beginning of the game is incredibly slow even by Monster Hunter standards, but this version of the game basically has the same premise as it's always had. Hunt stuff! Hunt more stuff! Never stop hunting. I never really get that bored of this game while I'm playing it because it's essentially one huge boss fight after another. Each time you fight something, it's not even necessarily about getting better gear. It's about learning how the monsters fight, so that you can be a better hunter. This isn't a game where you can just button mash and blindly succeed. It takes practice and skill, and I think that's why I like it so much. And honestly, this version is probably on the weaker side because it's more of a throwback entry to the series than, say, something like Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, which I think is the strongest entry in the series so far. But this game does have awesome new changes to the combat that add a lot more to the gameplay variety, even when you've been using the same weapon like I have for years. I like the direction it's going, and I can't wait to see what they come up with in the future. And now we pray to the Monster Hunter gods. Please make an HD Nintendo Switch Monster Hunter. Please. Please. Jethro Do Canada is a great little parody arcade game that's a mix between roguelikes, Oregon Trail, and beat-em-ups. The entire goal of the game is to drive from Florida to Canada, and along the way you'll encounter tons of different scenarios, people, and even crazy characters that parody other games or pop culture. In fact, it's so random and so hard, you'll probably feel cheated occasionally as your awesome playthrough that's going perfectly and nothing could ever go wrong suddenly goes completely wrong when your friend Peebus doesn't do his barricades right! Wow, thanks a lot, jerk! Maybe you should have done better. The game has certain built-in mechanics that make the next playthrough a little easier, as each person under your control has a certain set of skills that they can level up for subsequent playthroughs. Things like mechanics, shooting, and even the coveted Friend of Dog. I made PBG the guy in my group who's Friend of Dog, and one time he convinced a dog to join my team.
The dog died in that freak accident, though.
But it was fun. Which leads me to one of the best features of the game, the fact that you can make your friends, family, or people you look up to in the game's character creation. Then you'll constantly run into them when you play in the game's familiar characters mode. I made a lot of my YouTube coworkers and friends, and even some people from my stream. So now they show up in my game. That's awesome! By the way, managing supplies is super crucial in this game, but sometimes it's just kinda out of your hands and you can't find the one thing that you need. And now I'm dead.
Horse will take on the mantle of leader and lead us to Canada! He cannot be stopped! He will not be stopped!
The Vive is kind of an interesting beast. I'll admit I was crazy skeptical of the Vive in virtual reality right out of the gate. It kinda just felt like 3D movies to me. I hate them. I mean, nowadays you can't even go to the movies without differentiating between the 3D or the standard. If you go to the 3D, it costs more money, and you gotta sit there and wear these like shitty black plastic glasses that are smudged and tint the screen even more. Whose idea was this? It's a terrible—
So anyways, I kinda went into the whole virtual reality situation without any real expectations.
But man, was I wrong. Seeing gameplay and people playing the Vive just doesn't do it justice. You have to play it to really understand that the Vive and virtual reality could be the next big thing.
Oh, God!
Or at least a subset genre of gaming that people really enjoy. That's probably going to be around for the foreseeable future, and may even end up slowly taking over as the way we actually play video games. I know, it might be a little weird. I know how to play video games, guys. One of the most fun times I had this past year was going to my friend's house, firing up the Vive and recording some videos. Job Simulator was probably the best game I played as well. It really shows you what VR is trying to do. Not everything is perfect, but you can really see the potential and it's a fun game to boot. It's kinda silly, all you're really doing is generic chores and a lot of the game is experiencing VR and the novelty of that. But it's still fun.
It's a pretty sweet donut in there.
Ew! Wait, look at this.
Is it Doritos?
Ew, it's— ew, I hate it! It's quirky and funny and it allows this weird freedom that only VR can give you. Just be careful not to get too into it.
No, come back.
Argos Dungeon is one of those games where part of the fun is getting beaten down by the game itself. It's part of the lore. It's a tactical turn-based RPG where you control a party of 4 characters. You hire various classed heroes from the carriage between missions and mix and match them to make specific parties.
Then you go out and adventure for loot and restore Hamlet to its former glory.
The only real catch is that you're probably gonna die. This game will beat you down with its difficulty, or sometimes just its RNG, but it's fun. Figuring out what all the characters do, creating the best parties for certain situations, upgrading them, and even succumbing to the literal madness your characters sometimes endure. It's still fun. The stakes are crazy high in Darkest Dungeon. You'll have to manage a lot of things between missions, like upgrading or curing negative perks or diseases your party have acquired while adventuring. Oh man, scurvy! Again? This is the 5th time! When you're on a mission, you better be paying attention because a lot of the enemies you're running into use a lot of the same types of moves against you, and are in some cases just as strong as your party, making nearly each and every encounter a potentially fatal undertaking. And if your characters die, they're dead. As in, not coming back, ever.
Move 2! Why did this happen?
I like the fact that death is permanent. I like being able to customize my party of characters, give them my friends' names so I care about them more, take on disgustingly hard bosses, and I especially like the unforgiving nature of the game that makes every adventure out a potentially fatal one. The aesthetics and graphics of the game are amazing and dark, and that announce...
A decisive pummeling.
It's good stuff. Definitely one of the best games to come out all year. If you haven't played Darkest Dungeon, give it a shot. You won't regret it. Close enough. Man, Overwatch is great. I'll admit it, when I saw that trailer before the game came out that made it look like a TF2 clone, I had all but written the game off. There's no way this game's gonna be good. I said that. That was me. That was my quote. Oh. Whoops. Overwatch has to be one of the best multiplayer games to come out in years. I haven't touched FPS games in quite a while, to be honest, and in the past, having not so casually played CS for about 10 plus years, and even as close as a couple of years ago getting to double AK in the CSGO rankings, I mean before they incorporated baby mode where you gotta play a lot before you can even go back into ranked, even though I was already ranked, but whatever!
You must gain at least private rank 2 CSGO profile rank before participating in
what? What? I was double AK, I know how to play the game! What were we talking about again? Overwatch! Man, this game is so smooth. Aside from probably minor issues that the game suffers from, I honestly can't believe how much I enjoy this game, and still enjoy the game nearly daily. It incorporates so much of what I like about MOBAs like Dota or League of Legends, and what I've always liked about competitive shooters like CS, early Call of Duty games, or even Day of Defeat. Remember Day of Defeat? I do, it was great. Each character has so much personality and plays so differently than everyone else. There's definitely a playstyle here for everyone. I gotta hand it to Blizzard, they really know how to make well-designed and likable characters. Some of the best elements of the game are things that happen in the background, like when characters that know each other talk to each other before the match starts.
Diva, just tell me one thing. Where'd you learn to shoot like that?
16-bit hero.
The more you play, the more you can tell you're getting better, and it's always super satisfying to get that play of the game. To be honest, this might actually be my game of the year if it came down to how much time I sunk into it. But I think that there's one more game that I liked more than this year. Stardew Valley, for me, is the best game to come out in 2016. It's weird because it's not very often that I so eagerly await the release of a new game and am actually impressed once the game finally releases. I remember watching the early trailers from years ago, seeing all the features, the aesthetics, and wanting to play the game so badly. I've talked about this game before a couple times over the course of 2016 on my channel, even going as far as to make an entire video on the game. And let me tell you guys, this game was well worth the wait and well worth your time to check out. It's essentially just a relaxing farming game where you build up your farm, plant crops, take care of animals, and make money. But deep down, it's so much more than that. You go around and make friends with the townspeople, slowly gaining their trust and learning more about them over time. You travel the mines, delving deeper and deeper, trying to obtain rare minerals and ores to upgrade your farm or donate to the local museum. You have to shop for new items, manage your time effectively each day, and even participate in local events and festivals. It's weird. This game almost has this, like, nostalgic value to me. The game's only been out for less than a year, but I look back on my time in Stardew Valley with such fondness that I can't wait to start over and do it all over again. It's crazy to think that this game was developed by one guy over the course of many years, because this game accomplishes so much more than almost any AAA game I can think of. Heck, the concept of this game is probably deemed unsellable to many big developers. I mean, a game where you farm stuff and talk to the local townspeople?
Oh, absurd! Anyway, here's Call of Duty.
Stardew Valley was so refreshing and so refined in this ridiculous climate of unfinished games. Even to this day, it's still being updated with new content that even I haven't seen yet, and there's supposed to be a co-op mod in the future as well. I just know that if you're willing to give it a chance, you'll love this game just as much as I do. Anyways, those are some of my favorite games of 2016. I just want to take a second to thank you guys for watching over the past year and longer. I know I didn't play a lot of AAA games this year. I'm actually currently about to start Doom. And I mean, I don't have a PS4, so I kind of missed out on some of those games. So be sure to let me know in the comments down below what some of your favorite games of 2016 were. And until the next time, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like these, and turn on notifications if you want to be notified when new uploads come. And here are some videos for you to watch. How about Stardew Valley, since that was my top game of the year, and I did do a video on it, so you should watch that if you're still not convinced that the game is really good. And PB and Jeff, since I used some of the footage from there. Gotta pay my dues, right guys? I'll wait.